Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Keaton here today, doing a GOAT format deck profile. A deck profile I've wanted to do for a while now, but still don't have the deck all rarityed out. But it's a very shiny deck at the moment, and I've been playing it a lot at locals, and pretty much everybody's been playing it. So everybody's trying to step back from the metagame because the game's getting pretty fast, and everybody just likes this a lot more since it was pretty basic. But yeah, this is a format that you really have to like play your cards right and just think about like maybe 1 to 2 turns ahead, like whether you're gonna be able to go off with BLS or tribute summon, or be able to tribute summon, or play around nobleman or knock, and just try to play around cards and get tributes off and BLS and make your opponent neg. A lot of 1-for-1ing in this format. Kind of like with torrential. I'm never afraid to torrential just one monster. Like my opponent summons like a breaker or something, I'll torrential just to keep him from tributing, basically. Because once they get a tribute monster out, then it's really hard to get over, except for with Thousand Eyes or another more powerful tribute monster or a trap card. But if it's Yugioh, then it's pretty hard to do. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the main deck to start out. These sleeves are actually pretty old. They're from about 2 months ago, but they're player's choice. So the boss monster win condition BLS, obvious. If you don't run this, you're not playing GOAT. 1 DMOC. Nobody really runs this. Everybody actually kind of laughed at me for running this at first. But when they see like what it can bring back, like Metamorphosis, Knock, Book of Moon, the Trinity, Heavy, just any spell card at all is just great. And the fact that you can send this when your opponent duos you, or even if you Graceful Charity, then you can send this and premature call the Haunted it back and get the effect. So, 1 Jinzo, a lot of security, just helps get over stuff, basically. And you could also, keep in mind, you could also call the Haunted this. It'll just negate call when it hits the field, so. 1 Air Knight, this is the last for the tributes. Air Knight is an instant +1 if you actually get in damage, and it makes your opponent puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to activate Scapegoat, because then if they don't already have Metamorphosis when they have Scapegoat set and you attack with this, then they're really afraid to activate it, because they could take damage. Well, no matter what, they're going to be taking 19 if they activate it or not, but the fact that if they don't draw in Metamorphosis, it'll be a hard play to get over. But that's it for the boss monsters. If you have one of these out, you pretty much have control of the game at the moment. If you have Yugioh, you're probably in a very good spot. Next, for the level 4 spirits, we'll play 1 Tsukiyomi. If I had a side deck, I'd side another one, but I don't have another ulti, so I probably won't. Tsukiyomi is a card that can get around pretty much anything. Your opponent could have a Sangan up on like 2 back row, and you could summon this, flip it face down, and use a knock to get over it. It's a really versatile card. Also, to get over this with combination of Nobleman, can get over any of these pretty much, or any card in the game, as well as Thousand Eyes. Another spirit we play, the last one, is a Sierra Priest. This is a baby Susanoo. Just attack all your opponent's monsters once each, and then returns to your hand in the end phase. So it's a really great card. It puts pressure on your opponent to activate Scapegoat as well. 1 Breaker. Once again, don't be afraid to like torrential this. They don't get priority on this card, but yeah, so it's still a great card to play. It was at 1 at the time, so obviously it was a good card to remove back row and stuff. 1 Exile Force. I like playing this because it just helps me get over stuff. Like if Yugioh is really hurting me, or Air Knight, or even BLS, I can just summon this, and this has priority, so I could tribute it, and then just blow up a monster. And if they torrential, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know why they would, but I could summon this, pop something. Next another removal monster would be Tribe Affecting. This card's amazing because you could just keep discarding cards. I think they could bring this card back, in my opinion, if they said once per turn. So they just errata it. Also, I'm not really in favor of errating, but if this card would ever come back, I think that would be the only way it could. So. Another removal monster is DD Warrior Lady. This card gets around everything, except for Nobleman to cross out. Yeah, you really like holding this until you really need it most of the time, unless you want to put in damage or attack per game until your opponent summons like BLS or Yugioh or Air Knight or something that you can't get over. So, and then last for the 4s, a neg card for your opponent is one Don Zalug. Whenever some people don't know what he does, some people do. When you inflict damage, battle damage to your opponent with this card, you can activate one of the following effects, and he has 2 effects. You could either discard a card from their hand at random, or you can mill the top 2 cards. So what I usually like doing is discarding from their hand, and if they have no cards in hand, then obviously mill the top 2. So that's it for the 4s. Next for the 3s, we play one Sangan. Probably the best card. As far as searching goes, it's pretty much the only searcher card, or the only card that requires you to shuffle your deck, except for no mana crossout. But it's a great card. It can search for a lot, more than half the monsters. So great card. One Spirit Reaper. The only reason I play this is if it survives past the turn, like you just set it and they attack it with something and you flip it and then you contribute it. And also for the discard effect. That's it for the 3s. For the 2s, Morphing Jar. I just play it. This is a 41 card deck, I believe, so you could take this out if you want. I just play it because it's a nice top deck. Next for 1s, play 2 Magician of Faith. They're not supers, I know. Really depressed, but that shit's expensive. This card, it's gonna get Nobleman more than it actually gets his effect off, but if for some reason you feel lucky and you like to set it, then yeah, you could get it off. It's possible. It's obviously possible. Like having 2 out of 40 cards in the deck in your opponent's hand is, the percentage is less. So, and finally, the most versatile card in the entire deck is Sinister Serpent. So this card, it might come back. I don't know. Everybody's saying it might, ever since the OCG. That's it for the monsters. It's like 17. Yeah. Next for spells, do Scapegoat. This card just helps with getting away from damage, unless it's Air Knight or Exterion Universe. This deck does not run Exterion Universe. I would actually recommend taking out Morphing Jar for it, but I don't have a Exterion at all, so yeah. And this is basically, if you don't have this, then you're going to be using Serpent to go into your Thousand Eyes place. So, oh, and make sure I do this on end phase. Okay. Next, 2 Metamorphosis. They're not supers, salty. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you could go into in the extra deck in this format. There's not many that you will besides Thousand Eyes, but there's definitely options. This card gives you a lot of options when it comes to like sacking your opponent or making them have to get over cards. 2 Knock. Yeah, just gets over everything. 2 Book. I believe it was at 3 in the format, but 3 is way too cloggy, so I just played 2. Sometimes I think about taking it out and just playing 1, and I guess we wonder why it's at 1 today, but yeah, it's a great card, and if you really need to, you can combinate this with Knock and get rid of a problem card. Next for the Trinity cards, Duo, Pot of Greed, Graceful. This isn't ulti, salty, and this isn't super. I think this is highest rarity. But if you open up one of these cards, you have a higher chance of winning. If you open up 2 of them, almost guaranteed. If you open up 3, I've never lost. So just keep that in mind. Next for removals, removal spells, 4 spells and traps. Heavy was at 1. I love heavying people, making them neg. And then having to play around it without being able to set 5 and then just be like heavy. It's a nice feeling. And then 1 MST. It was at 1, so it was at 1 for a reason. It was just basically because removal back row was very essential in this format. Because, yeah, just spells and traps were better, as you can see. And Snatch. This is one of the cards that you want to save MST for, unless you want to go off. Yeah, and then the other equip is Premature. Yeah, just 2 great cards. Glad Snatch Shields back. 1 Lightning Vortex, just for removal spell, and as well as Smashing Ground. I decided to play this just because it's an okay top deck card, so I just liked it. For traps, monster removal traps, 1 Mirror Force. It was at 1, so 1 Sakadostu. Considering playing 2, I'm probably gonna take out something for it, probably the Morphing Jar or something, or Smashing Ground. And Torrential. Yeah, and also, as I said at the beginning of the video, don't be afraid to Torrential just 1 monster. Like, it helps slow your opponent down and set them back a turn in a sense. Even if you have a monster on field, like, still sets them back rather than yourself. 1 Dust. I was gonna play 2, but this deck's really tight. But yeah, just 1 Dust. I usually like to save this for stuff like Premature and what's that other card? Snatch, and just stuff like that. Stuff that I can't get around. 1 Call. Just to call back anything. Keep in mind that you can't call back BLS unless it was successfully summoned the first time. So, and then finally, my 1 hidden tech of this deck that was amazing in this format that everyone overlooks. 1 Spell Shield type 8. 99% of the people watching this video will be like, "Oh, what was that dude? I've never seen that before." And then that 1% will be like, "Oh, dude, nigga, that 1 person sacked me with that when I was playing Goat." But basically what it does is it has 2 effects. It's a counter trap, so they 99% of the time they won't have a response unless they're playing 7 tools. But the first effect is when your opponent activates a spell that targets a monster on the field, you can negate it. And then the second one is when your opponent activates a spell, you can discard a spell and negate it. So this is basically anti-spell dot spell, or dot trap. So it's a great card. I really liked it. My friend actually told me about it, and when I activate this on people who don't know about it, they get pretty salty. So alright, that's it for the main. It's like 41, I'm almost positive, if not 40. Hopefully not 39. But alright, for the extra deck, keep in mind that the extra deck has no limit in this format. They didn't actually give it a limit until like 2006 or 7, I believe. But and this is 2005, so we'll play 3 Thousand Eyes. They're not ultras, but basically Mr. Yugioh Girl. So that's the go-to card in this that makes it go format. 1 Fusionist just for a 3. Helps make plays with Sangan, because if you have it on field, it's been there for a turn, just floating, then you can metamorphosis, make this, get a search, and possibly tribute it or something. One of this Cabanela warrior. I don't know. He's just a level 4. One Fiend Skull Dragon. This card is pretty good because it negates all flipped effects. So I like going into this. But there's also another monster that I'm about to get to that it would be better to go into. But yeah, this is a card. This card, Dark Balter, the Terrible. I'd actually recommend playing 2. This extra deck's actually kind of random. I just threw in a bunch of fusions that I had that were legal at the format. But I would play 2 if I had another one, so I'm looking for one. Next 2, Flame Swordsman, just because he looks nice. One Musician King, he's cool. One Cybersaurus. One of the Shark guy, it's in Spanish, so I don't know. 3 Sandwich, probably the best card in the extra deck. 1 Dark Blade, the Dragon Knight. He basically ruins your opponent's plays for Call of Haunted, Premature, and BLS. Because when it inflicts battle damage, you can remove up to 3 monsters from your opponent's grave. And you use Jizno to go into this. One Ojama King. He's got a huge ass that only BLS can get over, pretty much. As far as monsters go. As well as Thousand Eyes. But he just makes your opponent not be able to use 3 monster guard zones. So if they have like 2 scapegoats and then you activate this, they're forced to metamorphosis. So you could bait it out if you want. And 1 Gatling Dragon. This is what you use BLS for, but I don't usually go into this. And then finally for BLS, this card actually came out right when the format ended, or right before the format ended in Cybernetic Revolution. And that's 2 Cyber Twin Dragons. I just play 2 because I have to, and they look nice. I don't feel good about playing this card just because it's not like traditional Go format, but it was still a card that was legal during the April 2005 format, so it's just a card that'll win games. Like, you could banish BLS a set and then metamorphosis into this, Tech 56, so they're most likely not going to have a response. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. If you guys like the deck, go ahead and leave a like, and tell me if you guys have like GOAT tournaments at your locals, or if you play for money or something, because a lot of people at my locals have started to play for money. As far as GOAT is concerned, they already played for money, like meta wise, but GOAT format is starting to catch on. So yeah, it feels really good to play banned cards like this. So just be able to make your opponent -1 for the cost of 1,000. Being able to get his effect off. Being able to make this card relevant. This card again, this card, this card, this card. Especially this card is beautiful. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.